Welcome, everybody. Stream on in. The water is fine, my friends. We have an excellent show for you folks today. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited for this. Welcome to our first episode of Building on Avalanche, a new series exploring what it means to be a founder in Web3. I'm your host, Breevy, and today we're going to hear directly from the Avalanche Foundation and founders across the Avalanche ecosystem with program updates, insights, and stories from those shaping the next wave of innovation. And to help me with that, we've assembled some absolute stars, the biggest stars in the galaxy, my friends. We have Daniel Ortiz, Senior Program Manager over at the Avalanche Foundation. Say what's up, my friend.
Hey everyone, I'm Daniel. I'm going to talk to you about, I work very closely with Memo here as program managers, both of us, and I'm going to talk to you guys later on about InfraBUIDL and InfraBUIDL AI. Pleasure to be here.
Hey, it's a pleasure to have you here, my friend. OX Exodus says, whoa, I love this. See, let's go. We already got the good vibes already. Let's get it. Come on. Next up, we have Xenia Soborova, Ecosystem Coordinator over at the Avalanche Foundation. Say what's up, my friend.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you. Good to be here. Today, I'll be talking a little bit about what it means to be a successful founder and what it means to be supported by the foundation.
Excellent. We're so happy to have you here. I'm super excited to get to talk about this. And I know based on the excitement I'm seeing in the comments so far, I know a lot of folks are excited as well. And next up, we have Memo over here, Program Manager over at the Avalanche Foundation. Say what's up, my friend.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Glad to be here. Program Manager here as well. Together with Daniel, we manage the grant programs here at the foundation. I'm mainly responsible on the Retro 9000 side, so I will be giving you the latest updates on the Retro 9000 end. So yeah, very excited. Let's go.
Let's go, man. So happy to have you, my friend. And let's go ahead and introduce some of the builders that we have here today. We have Dylan, core contributor over at Tesseract. Say what's up, my friend.
Hey, Breevy. Dylan from the Yield Yak and Tesseract teams, and we're going to be talking about solving liquidity fragmentation across all of Avalanche later. So, thanks for having me.
Sorry, guys. I am having some wild issues going on here, my friends. Apologies, everybody. My screen is completely blank at the moment. Everything is gone. So I'm going to have you folks actually introduce yourselves while I work out this problem. Super sorry. Hold on. Oh, my goodness.
Should we go over to Matt?
Yeah, Matt.
Happy to. Thanks for having me up here. I'm Matt. I'm the CEO of Warp, and I am joining you today from Gamescom in sunny Cologne, Germany. It's exciting to be building on Avalanche, and we have a L1 going live on mainnet very, very soon, and couldn't be more excited to be part of the Avalanche team. We've received an AI InfraBUIDL grant, and we're here to make games better. We're here to push games and to essentially bring everyone to the chain and to different chains, and all of this powered by our wonderful L1, supported by all of you wonderful Triangle people, of which I've been seeing a few around. So good to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Scott, do you want to go next?
Hey everyone, Scott Dykstra.
Hey
everyone, Scott Dykstra from Space and Time. Really thrilled to be here. Been a Avalanche builder for 4 years now. It's been a while, 3.5. And Space and Time is launching Dream Space, which is a vibe coding studio that allows people to vibe code on Avalanche. So we're really thrilled to bring vibe coding to the AVAX ecosystem, and we're excited to chat today.
Excited to have you all here. So anyways, I think I can start just introducing the programs that we have at the foundation. I think the two main ones that you guys should know about is InfraBUIDL and InfraBUIDL AI. This is a milestone-based approach to grants, and through this program, we aim to scale infrastructure and supporting AI tooling in the ecosystem. Another one is Retro 9000. This is obviously by the name a retroactive grant funding program. Here we really focus on the projects that already exist in the ecosystem. And the idea is to evaluate them by the traction and the impact that they bring on the long-term ecosystem growth. So beyond these two ones, I also actually wanted to mention 3 programs that we are extremely excited about. That are supported by the foundation as well. So the first one is Developer Credits Program that is operated by Space and Time, which is also a grantee at the foundation. Another one is Security Program operated by Hexgate. And last but not least, Gaming Accelerator Program, which was announced, I think, last week, operated by our partner, Halica. So when we think about founders in the ecosystem, like whom we are looking for specifically for grants programs at the foundation. Hello, Brivi. I'm excited. I felt like quite alone in this space, but I was just starting to talk about like the founders and how we support the founders and what we are looking for. I think and you probably would agree that the key components to be a successful founder are the following. So when you apply, we'd obviously look for problem and the ecosystem fit. We are expecting a grantee to understand what problem your product is solving and how it fits and whether it fits any gaps in the ecosystem at Avalanche. For that, we obviously expected to have some prior research done, right? Another element to it is a proof that you can ship. So for that, we will evaluate your past traction and experience. We'll also take a look at how you define the milestones for your product. And last but not least, but I think very, very important, is commitment to your product. And that means that regardless of whether you get a funding or not, you want to ship it and you want to go forward with it. And then another important element is community traction, how well you are connected already within Avalanche ecosystem, but even beyond that. And last but not least, ecosystem impact. Even if you apply for InfraBUIDL without like past traction in Avalanche ecosystem, we will still assess whether the product is the right fit and how you aim to achieve success and hit metrics within the ecosystem with the funding you are receiving. So these are kind of like 4 elements. So to sum up, problem and ecosystem fit, proof of your past experience and proof that you can actually ship, community traction, involvement in builder community in particular, and ecosystem impact evaluation. Brivi, you are muted.
Talking to myself. One of the things I love is just kind of how in-depth you folks are kind of going with analyzing who should kind of receive these grantees. I think it kind of could put the Avalanche community at ease, kind of knowing that, you're not just kind of giving out grants to, folks who are just kind of building kind of anything or just building kind of the exact same product as somebody else, who don't even really kind of understand the product that they're building. They have to go, you're going through all these you're looking at all these different sections, like problem, ecosystem fit, proof that you can actually ship, like your actual experience and things of these nature, to ensure that people are actually building something innovative. And I think that's something I myself truly appreciate, and just wanted to shout out and make sure the folks really, really kind of understand kind of that difference there. One thing I do actually want to talk about as well is what kind of trends have you kind of been observing as far as with successful grants?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when we are looking at grantees that already were supported and funded by the foundation, we definitely see the most successful ones are actively engaged both with the foundation and Naval Labs in a way that they can gain insight into what's happening in the ecosystem. They understand what new products are coming and are able to tap that opportunities early on, participate in different community initiatives as well. Another element I think is worth marking here as well is storytelling, being able to explain the value of your product to a larger community. We also see how proactive successful founders are in aiming to collaborate with each other to be able to find product to market fit within Avalanche ecosystem. I mentioned it quite briefly as well, but want to highlight that tapping community channels for distribution is really important. Avalanche is all about community, and builder community here is thriving. So actively engage with it, actively engage with people in the community, listen to signals, and another, and like last but not least, being a grantee already sends a signal. And I think leveraging credibility for unlocking business development opportunities, marketing opportunities, participating in different community activations, being a grantee is so much easier because it already gives credibility to your product. So using that when necessary as much as possible is also a key of success, I think.
Actually, I want to spotlight that really quick for our folks watching out there, our future builders who are watching out there. Make sure you're being active within the community. That's going to help you out in a few different ways. But and one way it can help you out is figuring out the problems that are within the community, and then now you have that kind of first thing that the foundation is looking for, which is actually understanding the problem and understanding the solution that you're bringing to the table. So Xenia, I want to say I appreciate you so much for kind of giving that kind of overview. And now let's kind of move over to our friend Daniel here, so he can talk to us a little bit more. I kind of want to spotlight InfraBUIDL, my friend. Hi, Daniel. Just for a quick recap for everyone, this initiative launched just a year ago. And has already founded 20 very key infrastructure projects that are helping power the Avalanche ecosystem today. So to share what's been shipped and highlight some standouts, I'm going to hand everything over to my friend over here, Daniel Ortiz. So I'll let you take the floor, my friend.
Okay, thank you, Brevi. So as you said, InfraBUIDL, it's been almost a year since it launched, and we have funded 20 projects so far. I wanted to just go a bit over what the aim of the program is, and the type of projects that can apply to this grant program. So essentially, it's a program, as the name implies, focused on infrastructure projects, and that means those projects that are building key pieces that other developers are going to be able to leverage. So, for example, if you are building a perp dex, you need oracles. So oracles will be infrastructure. Those key pieces, those components that are necessary for others to build applications on top. So there are key pieces that unlock other use cases and benefit the network as a whole. And also those projects that can be considered public goods. And this means projects that maybe do not have a clear sort of path to be profitable on their own, but the chain kind of needs them because they are providing a key service that is required by a large developers, users, etc. And in all these categories, I think several types of projects come to mind: oracles, bridges, explorers, indexers. But one key challenge that we have with this program is there is a lot that's already covered and existing, right? Like we have Chainlink, we have Redstone, we have several Oracle providers, for example, and same goes with explorers. And so when you make your application, we want to see very clear differentiation, or like demonstrating demand for your product, because there is only so much redundancy that makes sense within a network, and we are not going to fund projects that we already kind of have. So think deeply about what you are building, whether it fits within Avalanche, whether it's solving a specific use case that no other projects are covering, or if it's similar to other projects, highlight how it's differentiated, how it's better, etc. So those are just a few tips, but definitely do consider applying and have a look. You just have to fill in this form that you see in your screen, and there will be a committee that's composed of both people from Ava Labs, Avalanche Foundation, as well as some community builders from the ecosystem that will have a look at it and take decisions on them. And other than that, I also wanted to highlight some successful projects that we have seen, so sort of to give an idea of the types of projects that we fund. So one example here will be, for example, Keystone. Keystone, as you may know, it's a hardware wallet, which essentially, it's pretty much, I would say, a requirement for everyone listening at this stream. Everyone should have a hardware wallet. But until now, there was no hardware wallet that supported P-chain staking. And so Keystone has partnered with Core and got a grant from us to enable people to stake on P-chain and use P-chain, C-chain, X-chain, essentially full native Avalanche support for a very good hardware wallet. So definitely check them out. Other kind of example of the type of project that will fund and kind of serves a public good purpose is Cubist. Cubist is doing also something that I think is very interesting. So when you spin up a new L1, all validators have a private key or a validator key that can be, if you lose control of your node, of your machine, your node can be compromised. And this might not be a problem, when in a C chain, if a node gets compromised, it's not a problem. But when we talk about small permission networks, such as the ones corporations might have, it is definitely an attack vector that should be taken into account. If there are only 5 nodes and a couple get compromised because the machines got compromised, then that's an issue. And essentially what Cubist does is offers a solution that stores these keys in a separate, secure environment, so that even if your machine gets compromised, then the attacker will not have access to the node. And so it improves security for all L1s. And last but not least, I also wanted to obviously highlight Space and Time, which we have here with us today. They are working on a very interesting indexing solution. They are essentially, and correct me if I'm wrong, Scott, you guys are a centralized network that takes indexes in a decentralized way. You also offer super cool tooling on top, by coding, etc. So, I mean, I'll let you definitely do the explaining here, but
sure.
Super cool to hear what's new here with you guys.
Thanks for having us on, Daniel. We're so thrilled to be here and be building as part of the Avalanche ecosystem. We've been big fans of Avalanche really since day one. And what we built first as part of our partnership and grant with Avalanche was a very mature decentralized indexer that captures close to the tip indexed data from C-chain, and of course can be quickly manipulated to support subnets as well, or other L1s launched through the Avalanche ecosystem. And the purpose of that is to make it really easy for developers to run SQL against indexed chain data, which I'll show you in just a moment. And then let's make this even easier for developers to build on. Let's bring a wealth of tools on the front end that just make the lives of builders a lot easier. Daniel, is it possible for me to demo today, or are we just chatting today?
Oh, you go ahead and demo. I mean, unless Breeby thinks otherwise, I definitely want to see this.
I'll make this very quick.
I never want to stop Scott's flow. Let's get.
So first, I'm going to open up Avalanche core chain data, and I'm going to just demonstrate the indexing work that we did. The wonderful thing about Space and Time is we care a lot about our user experience. We want to make this really, really easy for devs to find what they need, build what they need, and access data quickly from Avalanche Chain. So if you go to like the data sets view, you can open up Avalanche and see a set of tables, context. First, navigate to dream.space. DreamSpace is a vibe coding studio that has all of this index data ready to go for making it really easy to query what you need to query and access what you need to access. Dream.space, you can sign up for free and begin looking at Avalanche data. You'll see a blocks table. You'll see that's joinable with a transactions details table, etc. And you can start to write queries against the Avalanche data set. So I'll go ahead and open up Avalanche, and I could say, show me. You can start to write natural language queries against this index data. Show me all the AVAX. How about a really simple question? Show me total AVAX transactions per block today. Just something simple to start with. And before I know it, I'm becoming an on-chain sleuth, understanding how Avalanche works. And the beautiful thing is, this prompt gets converted into a natural language SQL state. This natural language prompt gets converted into a SQL statement and executed in a few seconds against the space and time database. And we even show you all the tables that were referenced in your query, as well as other tables you can join, just to make it really easy to understand how space and time has broken down the Avalanche C chain into a very consumable data set with a few tables that are easy for developers to build on. So you can, I could, if someone has a smart contract address for me, I could type in a contract address and say, print out recent transactions from this address, or show the total volume of transactions from this address over the last month. You can start to understand your own smart contract addresses that you've deployed on C-Chain, and start to ask natural language questions that get converted into SQL against this indexed data, and show total transactions. And so this is a very powerful way to start exploring Avalanche data. In the same sense, I could, kick off a AVAX C-Chain app for rewarding traders for the amount of capital they bridge to C-Chain, for example. In 1 minute, we'll have the first iteration of a beautiful app that I can then generate a smart contract for on top of Avalanche, right? I could say, give me a smart contract that rewards traders based on capital they bridged via XYZ bridge at contract address 0x12345. Now, I'm not going to give you a full demo today just for sake of time, but I just wanted to show you this environment. It's a great way for developers to start building. There's a question on the screen. Go ahead.
Yeah. I had like 3 questions here. So not 3 questions. So essentially, what you're telling us is, you have all the data from C-Chain index here, and there are like several things that you can do with it. One is just check the data and let developers leverage it. And like one idea that comes to mind that I know people use these for example, is AI agents who need to know what's going on chain. They are probably customers that, that will leverage this infrastructure to make their agents interact with the chain, understand what's going on, that type of thing. But you also have tooling that allows for less technical people to make use of this. And for example, what you just did now was ask questions directly, right, to the chain. You could say, what's going on here? Like how many transactions were in these many blocks? Essentially, you can sort of create your own analytics, answer your own questions that you might have about data related to C-Chain. But you guys go even one step further and let people just create applications based on this data, just using natural language. So it's,
that's great context. I really appreciate you clarifying. What you called out is perfectly kind of the 3 personas we're trying to support. We're trying to support developers that are building their own apps that just need high quality data to populate their app front end. Whether you're building dashboards or you're building a consumer facing app on top of Avalanche, we have data that you can access via our REST APIs, where you can run SQL against any on-chain activity. You can query your own smart contracts and get real-time events from your own smart contracts. Another persona we're trying to support are just analytics people, trying to, on-chain sleuths, folks that want to understand better what's happening on-chain, data analysts, researchers that want to use our query editor to start writing natural language queries to start asking questions about Avalanche. And then finally, most important to me, are those vibe coders that want to vibe code an entire app on Avalanche with just a single prompt or a set of prompts that follow. With just a single prompt today, just now, I started building sort of this first iteration of a data dashboard for like, people that have bridged the most money to Avalanche. And in one prompt, I got an initial kind of attempt that I can then edit further, right? I could start generating a smart contract and so on and so forth, and then I can connect indexed data from Avalanche to my front end here. Make sense?
It's beautiful. I think we need to probably move to the next section, but before we do that, I wanted to mention that Space and Time has a partner program that they are doing with us, where essentially developers and people who want to experiment with this can get free credits, and free credits to use the platform. And so I encourage everyone to apply to this program. Anyone who is interested here.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'll stop presenting as well with that. Thank you for calling out the credit program. That was last on my list. It's important that developers understand we're making this also free for Avalanche developers. We have a ton of credits to give away, about 250,000 in credits for Avalanche developers to get free queries, right? So you have to pay. So reach out. We'd love to have you building on Avalanche data. Talk soon.
Hey, appreciate you so much, Scott, for being willing to pop on, my friend. What you built looks really, really beautiful. And I saw there's a lot of excitement popping up in the chat as well about it. So super happy for what you built, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys. It's been awesome.
All right, let's move into our next spotlight, my friends. Let's talk a little bit about InfraBUIDL AI. This initiative was launched at the end of 2024 to support the next wave of AI projects building on Avalanche. And to share what's been shipped and highlight some standout guarantees, I'm going to hand things back over to our friend, Daniel.
So InfraBUIDL AI, this is really the sister program to InfraBUIDL. It launched at the end of last year, and the goal here was, AI was really new to AI cross blockchain interactions was new, was like a new frontier, and we wanted to start strong. And so this program was launched in December, and it also has reached 20 projects funded. It's almost comical that the number is the same for both programs. So it's total of 40 projects between InfraBUIDL AI and InfraBUIDL. The goal of this program was to sort of bootstrap the AI ecosystem on Avalanche. And so this program, I would say the main difference between this and the InfraBUIDL program is the scope of the AI program is a bit broader. So we obviously also fund infrastructure for AI programs, for AI developers, but it goes a bit beyond AI infrastructure and also tackles into agent specific use cases. So it's really more about whether if you are building on AI, the program, then it's really a good fit for you, basically. But what we look at here is not that much about whether the project is being useful for other developers, although that's a very important piece as well. We look in general at how much demand will your project have, how is your ability to execute, how is your marketing ability, because you probably have to reach more people through these type of programs. And so the types of projects that we have supported through this program is also very, very different, very varied. Like it goes like, if InfraBUIDL is mostly infrastructure, in this case we tackle AI cross gaming, AI cross DeFi. It's just much broader. AI and consumer, anything that touches the AI, and AI touches everything, is technically applicable. And so we have seen projects like RoadScan, which is essentially enabling people to ask natural language questions to about the Avalanche network and get like super detailed responses, kind of what Space and Time is doing, but on a L1 scale. So you can not only ask about what's going on C chain, but you can also ask what's going on L1s, what's going on with Avalanche validators. And so people will have access to super easy analytics and super easy way to just ask questions about the network. Another project that comes to mind here, and which has also joined us, is Jomio. Jomio is a huge project. It's also an InfraBUIDL grantee, and not only that, they are so important to us that they have also become members of our selection committee. Jomio is our agent launchpad, and it's super interesting because it touches the infra part, because it's a tool that enables people to launch agents, but also touches the gaming part, because these agents are augmented with 3D personas. They live in worlds, and there is sort of a big gamify aspect to it as well. And because of this, we just invited them to the committee, which is also formed by people from labs, foundation, ecosystem partners like Jomio, Kite AI, and Ether, which also gives incentives to further incentives to people accepted into the program, as they are also considered for their ecosystem fund, which essentially funds compute. It's a compute fund for developers. And the last project that I also really want to highlight, and that we have here with us, is Warp. I think a lot of people have thought about how AI and gaming could interact, and Warp has a very, very interesting take. They are building infrastructure for those game developers that want to integrate AI into their games. We have Matt here. Hey, Matt.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for bringing us up. And yeah, exactly as you say, we're a publisher, and we're building the infrastructure for all the games in Web3 to make it as easy as possible for them to deploy agents that know about their game and that know the things that they're doing. So when we say we have a fully serviced ecosystem, that's kind of us. We essentially provide all of those things white label, whether it's AI questing, whether it's AI live operations to help you run your game. And we do that all by utilizing our L1 to have things like APIs, which you can call, and you can encode your game data and encrypt that, so that while you can use the personality from someone's game, you can actually have your own data with that as well. So there are so many opportunities for AI and Avalanche to interact. And yeah, we're grateful that we've completed the InfraBUIDL grant. We have our agents on chain ready to deploy into games. We've deployed into 3 games so far, and these can be anything from helping you navigate the UI to sort of giving you in-game tips and quests, all the way through to actually feeding data into the game itself to enable you to make that game better for players in the future. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff that we do with this.
No, it's really cool what you guys are building. I think one of the things I like most about gaming AI is that it's just very easy to imagine a very, very cool future and applications for AI. And what you are building, essentially, you could say it's a very open solution, as you said, right? Like, you can use it for several things. You can build an AI companion through your tools. You can also get analytics about how players are doing on the game, and sort of to improve the game itself. And you can also offer kind of tailored experience, right? Like, your agents can potentially create custom quests for users, can adapt the difficulty of games, of the gaming experience, to sort of optimize enjoyment and make sure no one leaves the game.
Exactly. And there's even more that since we're also validating our L1, one of the things that we thought was really important when you're validating an L1 is that someone is actually taking the time and putting in the service, and they're running your compute, is that we actually give them the best information about the network they are validating. So each of our validators comes with an AI companion, and that AI companion will tell you about what's happening on our chain and what's happening in general in gaming. And you can talk to them, and they're going to be adorable. And that's something we're very, very excited about, and we'll be previewing soon. They are so lovely, and in the design stages, this is really one of the benefits of being part of us and owning a validator and having that node as well. It's not just that the validators obviously return on what you pay. There's a service, they validate the network, and they get funded by that. And that is also based on the scale of the network. So the bigger we become, the more validation there is to do, and the more reward that gets. And that's integral because our games actually have validators themselves. So the way that our publishing partnership works, we take, say, 50% from the game in their revenue, and we actually return that through the service fees that they get on the validation of their network. So it's great. They validate our network, they give us revenue, and it's a great cycle that we can all be excited about. Not only that, with the access to the AI side of things. They can ask about what's cooking, what are their competitors. They can interface with their AI live operations and see how their token's doing, who's their top holders. All of this kind of interesting, good stuff is available to them. And of course, it's really easy then for us to interact with other games and other chains, and then just bring more people to gaming as a whole. We're extremely excited about this, and you'll hear much more from us very, very soon. There's a big activation coming around our validation services, which we'll be launching with AvaCloud. So AvaCloud have helped us deploy our L1, and we're going to be deploying our validators on AvaCloud as well. So we are locked into the network and really enjoying being part of it.
I love the incentive design for developers. It's very, very cool. Before we finish, I also wanted to say one thing that I really like about you guys is how you work within the ecosystem and not just build in isolation. I think that's something we really want to see from most grantees. And I say this because as far as I'm aware, you guys have been working with LFJ, which is also working on a similar thing, but mostly complementary, which is non-playable, like
exactly
in-game.
They're players.
You guys focus on the
in-game
aspect,
agents.
and they focus on the
exactly
players.
So we basically have an AI which. Yeah, sorry. I guess there's a bit of lag on my side. We have AIs that focus really on the surroundings of the game, and they're building AIs that can actually play the game. So we're partnering with them, and we're actually here at Gamescom with Avalanche and the Avalanche booth. We're doing a competition together to win one of our validators. So LFG, we're massive friends and supporters, and we believe that their agents and our agents working together can not only make the game exciting for players to be able to train up their own sort of agent, have that take on games when they're not there, but it can also interact and benefit from the fact that we have multiple of these different kind of personas on chain, so that you can have different types of characters, and it makes it easier to have characters from one game into another game. The interoperability is higher, and that's what we really want to do is to sort of bridge that gap. We've all been talking about interoperability, but we actually have a tech stack that makes that happen. We can even turn a Web 2 game into being live on chain in around about 6 hours through our platform that we've already developed, and that was developed by a company we acquired as well. So it's getting really exciting. So live on mainnet, validator sale, and then TGE very soon. So it's going to be a packed year.
Thanks, Mark, for the update. I'm gonna hand it over now to Brevi again, but I'm pretty confident the future of AI gaming is gonna be built on our chain, on Avalanche.
100%.
I'm gonna pop in and just say I agree, and I also want to say thank you so much, Matt and Daniel. Daniel, thank you so much for the deep dive on InfraBUIDL AI. I think it's super important as far as pushing that overall industry is concerned, especially within our ecosystem, the best. And then also, Matt, thank you so much for what you're building over there over at Wharf, man. Thank you for everything that you've been building and will build in the future. And also, thank you for joining us, my friend. And
Thanks
so
for
now,
having me. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, no problem. Sorry, we run into those lags. Appreciate you so much, Matt and Daniel. So now we're going to shift our focus over into Retro 9000. It was launched last November to back builders and developers creating new L1s and infrastructure tooling on Avalanche, but with a twist. It's a retroactive program, meaning support comes after the projects have already shown real impact. And to break down how it works and what progress we've seen so far, I'm going to hand things over to our good friend. We have Memo here. I believe it's your turn to take the reins.
Yes, let's go.
Let's go.
Very excited to be here. I mean, you made a great introduction already. In contrast to InfraBUIDL and InfraBUIDL AI, which are milestone-based grant programs here at the foundation, our Retro 9000 program, as the name indicates, it's a retroactive grant program, meaning you have to build first, show impact, and you get rewarded accordingly. we have a ongoing round, which is the L1 tooling round. And as the name indicates, it's specific for launching your L1 or related toolings on the Avalanche ecosystem. And it's an ongoing round, meaning that it's not starting at one point and then ends, but it's really returning. We have different snapshots throughout the year, to be exact, 4 of them every quarter. So far we had 2 snapshots. The first one being on April 15, 2025, and the second one being in July 15, 2025. So 2 snapshots so far. And what we are pretty much looking here are on-chain metrics such as total transactions, active addresses, validators, total value locked, and different criteria that are very important when we evaluate projects. But as you can see on the screen already, we have a nice website, which is retro9000.avax.network, where you pretty much can connect with your wallet and submit your project. And that's where pretty much the initial due diligence and review part starts for Daniel and myself when we review the projects, if they are a great fit for the round, which is, again, this round is specifically for L1s and related toolings. I just want to talk more about the evaluation process a little bit more to give you more transparency on it too. Again, I already mentioned the timeline. So we have a snapshot, and after the snapshot, we evaluate projects that are eligible for that very round. Projects need to fulfill basic criteria such being on mainnet and marking themselves live on the platform that we are showing on the live stream right now, and pretty much fulfill the minimum criteria. But that doesn't necessarily mean you will get a grant automatically just by fulfilling the minimum criteria, but we're really looking for projects that showcased impact and developed something from up to the snapshot time. So again, when it comes to the evaluation, as for the way we have it for InfraBUIDL and InfraBUIDL AI, we also have a committee for the Retro 9000 program, which it consists of members from the foundation, but also from Avalanche, and we have DevRel members. So it's a very experts in the committee that give their input with evaluating the project. Plus, every unique project has its dedicated BD lead and DevRel lead that supports us from their end as well. And we came up with a nice matrix where we evaluate projects on the quality, like project and team quality, project potential impact, but also if they are for their innovation and originality. Part of the decision matrix is also past funding, meaning if you have received a grant from a different program, such as InfraBUIDL AI, or even Codebase, or investment from Avalanche, all those things come into consideration when receiving a grant from the Retro 9000 program. So as mentioned, we already had 2 snapshots so far. During the first snapshot, we gave over $1 million worth of grants to up, I think it was exactly 19 projects, which is fantastic. And we had so many great projects coming through the first round. And the second snapshot, as I mentioned, concluded in July 15. So we are in the final phases of finalizing the results for the second snapshot, and great projects we have seen so far. I'm very excited when we finally can announce the results. Very exciting to see exactly the ones that are returning ones, because it really showcases that it's an ongoing program, meaning if you build and continue building, you will continue receiving rewards. And from the first snapshot, we had great projects like Snowpier, Tesseract, which Dylan is here, which is going to talk a little bit more about what they are building. We have Cognate, Player One, Suzaku, and other great projects. Little alpha coming up in this too. We are going to open up a new round soon, but more to come to that when we finalize this as well. So very excited for that. And last but not least, very important for the community is that if you refer a project to the Retro 9000 program, you can get up to $10,000 per referral. So I think this is a fantastic, great opportunity to go ahead and refer projects you believe that will make a great impact. So very excited for that too. I think we can, there we go. We have a visual that we can show here. The way it pretty much works is if you refer a project and it is accepted to the program, you get a referral bonus. And if that project then actually gets a grant too, you can get up to $10,000 of referral. So without further ado, I would like to invite Tesseract. Dylan is already here. Many chains feel like one vision. Right. I think you guys really embrace that. Seamless token swaps across all integrated Avalanche L1s and the C chain. But I mean, I'm giving you the platform. Just please go ahead and kill it. Very excited to have you, Dylan.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Good to see you. And thanks for the foundation support. And, we're honored to be Retro 9000 grantee recipients. It's allowed us to focus on building. And on that note, so what is Tesseract? I guess there's two angles to Tesseract. At its core, it's a liquidity marketplace. So it's a swapping platform where as a user, I can go on Tesseract and I can make swaps. And unlike traditional aggregators, you're benefiting not only from aggregated liquidity on the C chain, but the C chain plus integrated Avalanche L1s. So any liquidity that's sitting on an L1 that might get you the better price for your trade or will give you access to those tokens, you'll be able to access that through Tesseract. So that's kind of maybe the user-focused explanation of what Tesseract is. And then from the builder perspective or the app builder perspective, Tesseract is more of a liquidity solution. So let's say I'm a new app and I'm looking where to build. Maybe I want to launch my own L1, which we're seeing is quite a growing trend. Well, if I want to launch my own L1 outside of the Avalanche ecosystem, I need to build and bootstrap liquidity for any tokens that I want to support, right? Or let's say I'm building on, let's say like an Ethereum L2, for example. I'm reliant only on the L2's liquidity. I'm not getting the benefit of Ethereum L1 liquidity without tapping into third-party bridges or waiting 7 days to swap my ETH back. So what Tesseract kind of unlocks, thanks to Avalanche's ICM and ICTT technology. So ICM is the messaging system that passes messages between the C chain and L1s, and ICTT is essentially the token standard that exists across all of the Avalanche ecosystem. So Tesseract's built on these two pieces of technology, and essentially what it means is that for any L1 that deploys Tesseract smart contracts, you immediately tap into instantly all of the liquidity that exists on the C chain. So rather than having to deploy my own DEX, bootstrap liquidity for my token on my own L1, fork Uniswap V2, or what you often see when people are trying to kind of build their own liquidity, all you need to do is just deploy whatever tokens you want to support on your L1, deploy Tesseract, and you instantly tap into all of the liquidity on the C chain, actually, as well as all the liquidity on other L1s if you'd like. So it's really a way for people to kind of focus on building rather than trying to have to manage all of the other parts of building in L1 that maybe they're not experts on or just don't want to focus on. So if I'm, for example, a gaming chain and I'm building games, but I want to have my users be able to onboard onto my gaming chain using AVAX from the C chain or USDC from the C chain, rather than having to focus on how do I solve that problem of getting them the best price when they make their swaps, how do I bridge the tokens over? Tesseract is kind of like an all-in-one package that provides a solution for transferring tokens in between the C chain and L1s, as well as swapping tokens. So yeah, let me just jump into a quick demo if I can get this to work. And I'll show you guys. I might just need to update my system settings, guys. Apologies. Okay, bear with me.
No worries. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's great to see everything you just mentioned, and it really embraces the whole idea of many chains feeling like one, that, as you mentioned, the struggle going there and having to think about that, and all this like being solved in one platform. So yeah.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. It worked. All right. So I'll just take you guys through like a pretty simple use case. So this is in production. So let's say I'm I'm PlayerFi, which I believe is another Retro 9000 grantee recipient. So they're a gaming chain, and they want to focus on building games, but they want users to be able to onboard into their gaming token from the Avalanche C chain. So in this perspective, I have AVAX on the C chain. So I'm on Avalanche. I choose native AVAX, and I want their native token player that's on their L1. So I can just select how much AVAX I want to swap into their native token. Tesseract's going to find the best route. So this is another perfect example. Basically, PlayerFi, rather than deploying their own DEX and liquidity, they have their liquidity parked on an Avalanche C chain DEX, Pharaoh in this case. So Tesseract's going to swap from AVAX into their token, and then it's going to instantly bridge that over into their L1 using native bridging technology, so no third parties. So I'll just make this swap, and then we'll just wait as it makes the swap and transfers over. And basically the speed is only limited by like essentially block time. So that was 3 seconds. So what we saw there was Tesseract swapping from AVAX into player, bridging it over, and it took 3 seconds. So you can just imagine from like a user perspective, if I'm on player making that swap, it's pretty much instantaneous, and they're not even necessarily need to be aware about, that the fact that this is actually being swapped on the C chain. So it's pretty, it's pretty powerful. And I'll just show you a bit more unique use case. So this is on CockNet, so a community L1 built around the Cock meme coin. So I'm going to make a swap. Let's go. So CockNet has USDC, Cock, and AVAX deployed. So we'll swap from USDC on CockNet into AVAX on CockNet. And what's interesting about this is that the entire swap will actually happen on the C chain. But from a user perspective, they're actually making a swap on the native L1. So I'll swap $5 in USDC to AVAX. Now this is, you can see here, this is all happening on the L1. But in the background, Tesseract's transferring it to the C chain, making the swap on Uniswap, USD to AVAX, and then it's going to bridge back to CockNet. So from a user perspective, I'm just on the CockNet L1. I'm on the L1. And in the background, Tesseract is kind of completing this, like essentially a bridge, swap, and bridge, without the user necessarily even needing to be aware of it. So that took 8 seconds. Again, about as fast as any swap you're going to see anywhere. I'm going to stop sharing now. So yeah, that's the product in a nutshell. I guess what's exciting is it's not like hypothetical. It's like a live solution that's working super smoothly in production. And we're now just focused on onboarding more L1s and connecting more L1s. And I think you mentioned at the start, kind of like the many chains feel like one vision is kind of our North Star. And like what excited us about the project was that we can actually build something that will feel like one single chain, and that kind of aligns with the overall kind of scalability solution of Avalanche. So it felt like, it feels like a really important project for users and for app builders as well.
Excellent. I mean, bridge, swap, bridge, this, that here. Anybody who's using that knows the pain. I mean, it's fantastic. 8 seconds, several bridges, swaps. I mean,
you can, if you play around Tesseract, there's some pretty crazy routes that you can take on, and that like 7-8 stop routes crossing multiple L1s that are all done inside 10 seconds. So it's yeah, it's pretty incredible, pretty exciting. And I guess a little bit of alpha from our side that I wanted to cover is that we're planning on exposing a public API that any app builder can tie into on the C chain or on L1s that essentially will let them trigger Tesseract's quoting and routing from their app, so they can essentially tap into liquidity across all the C chain, all the L1s, just using this API. Right now, we're doing the integrations manually ourselves, but pretty soon, any app will just be able to tap into this API and benefit from kind of the connected liquidity. So it's really should be a pretty big milestone for us.
It's fantastic. I mean, we are very excited to see the future developments. But yeah, thanks, Dylan. I'm giving the microphone back to Groovy. Groovy, let's go.
Yo, thank you so much, Dylan, for sharing everything about Tesseract's journey, everything you've been building over there. Everything looks super seamless. When you did the swap, I was just like, man, that would be me like sitting at my computer for 10, 20, 30 minutes. Like if we're not even counting just like the research and trying to figure out like what's the correct way to actually do the process, just actually doing the process alone is 20, 30 minutes. Research may be another 20, 30. So I want to say hats off to what you built over there, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Also, I would also like to say thank you to Memo for walking us through everything that you did with Retro 9000 as well. But I do want to talk about a little something before we wrap up. Can we quickly just recap like the grants programs that are available, share a few next steps for anyone that's looking to get involved, my friend?
Sure, yeah, I can do that again. So let's go. Yeah, there we have it. Thanks. Well, by the way, big shout out to Tom, who is killing it in the background. He doesn't show his face here, but like he is the brain behind everything, coordinating everything. So big shout out to Tom. So yeah, to just recap what we have here, our programs, he's bubbling with his mouse, our programs we have here, the InfraBUIDL AI one, we have the Retro 9000, our retroactive grants, we have Codebase, and we have the Blizzard Fund, and yeah, those are the main ones that we help here, but then also our partner programs with the Game Accelerate program, the developer credits, and the Hexagate security program. And I think that there will be a chance later on where we really dive deeper into those partner programs. And yeah, what is next? Next is those are ongoing programs that we continue doing, and many projects apply. We evaluate them, so it's an ongoing process. For retro specific, we have snapshots coming up again, and then again I mentioned already like a new round that we are designing. So many great things happening. We had fantastic projects, grantees here today. They showcased what they have been doing for the ecosystem. We have many more that we want to show to the world as well. So yeah, this is our first episode, so excited to have many more. But handing it back to you, Groovy, if you want to add something more to that.
Oh man, yeah. I don't have too much to add. I do want to just say thank you to you, and of course the rest of the folks that are out there, just kind of really helping these founders out with the mentorship and getting funding as well. It's extremely important in this Web3 ecosystem that we kind of have these kind of collaborations, these synergies, this kind of ability for us to network together, to mentor each other, to just work together, so that we can all kind of help bring these different innovations out into the world. So I want to say hats off to you and the rest of the team that we've seen here today. And I want to say hats off to all the builders that we showcased here today as well, because they absolutely are crushing it. And I don't want to say too much because they've already said enough. And for everyone out there, I do want to say this though. If you tuned into this stream late, you missed a lot. I'm just gonna let you know that right now. So what you need to do is you need to rewatch this, my friend. If you tuned in late, make sure you check this thing out from the very beginning. And don't you worry, my friends. I will also get this thing up on Spotify as well as the Apple Podcasts as well, so you can check that out in just straight up audio form. If on your way to work or your way back from work, don't worry, we got you, my friends. I also want to give you folks a quick pro tip right now, really quick. Bam! Make sure you're following at Avalanche for all of your updates and everything's about these great programs and these amazing builders that we have here. And I'm also going to give you a little quick pro tip. I think you folks may know this pro tip. I'm going to say it one more time. Come here. Look, bell notifications, everybody. Bell notifications. That will make sure that with anything that these folks tweet from that Avalanche FDN account, that you'll get notified so that you can make sure you stay up to date with everything that is happening over in the Avalanche ecosystem, my friends. Again, memo to the rest of the team. Thank you guys so much. It's been absolutely amazing. To the builders out there, thank you so much. To the audience out there, thank you so much. I'm going to end this thing by simply saying peace.